we are live for the first live of 2022. How cool is that? Yes, I've got a haircut, didn't quite shave my head the way I was describing when I was asking the question before the end of the new year, but I wanted to have a little bit of fun with it. So I just got the clippers and went zoom, zoom, zoom. Thanks, Lindsay, for cleaning it up. Today I want to be talking about the 5 things that I think everybody in business should be focusing on over the next 12 months. And very much of it is to do with what's currently going on in the environment, although a lot of these things are going to be just good practice for you as well. And these are going to be relevant no matter what stage of business you're at. And I think that's the key with some of these things I'm going to share, because I don't know exactly where you are in business unless we've already had a conversation and I'm already talking to you. And if you do want to talk to me, you can always reach out and say, hello, Russell. This is what's going on with my business. How can I actually grow it a bit better or actually do better in the sales and marketing space? Because that's what we do here in the Future Proof discussion group and also in the Forge program. So the Forge Business Program is a program that I run and would love you to be part of it in the new year, which is this new year, which is the 4th day of January 2022. Now that sounds weird. I don't know if I don't know if it sounds weird to you, but the year 2000 doesn't feel that long ago to me, but now it's 22 years ago. I'm still waiting for my jetpack, my rocket pack, so I could get myself to work, but I don't go to work anymore, so the whole world's changed. And it'll be interesting to see what this world has to offer this year. I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop, which is the, what do I call it, the big internet blackout of 2022. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you know what? Expect the worst. And I hope for the best. But these are the 5 things that I think that every business owner and business manager should be looking at in the year ahead. Number 1 is return to the things that work. One of the things I've noticed very much over the last probably 15 years in particular, I've started noticing these things. Before that, I was just doing stuff. But over the last 15 years, I've noticed that anytime I ask a business, what worked in the past, more than 50% of the time, they're not doing that thing anymore. Now, it could have been having conversations with people, making calls. It could have been having events. It could have been all sorts of different things that they did. Maybe it was open days. There have been all sorts of suggestions where they said that was a thing that actually really used to work for us. And the reason it used to work is just because they stopped doing it. So it might be relevant for you to consider what's something that worked in the past that you're not doing anymore that you should probably be returning to. Good to see you, Rose. Happy New Year to you. Nathan, still waiting for Y2K to happen. Absolutely. And I remember there's a Warwick Merry, who's one of the Forge members. He was doing a lot of training around the year 2000, and his whole big claim to fame was like getting prepared for Y2K. Which again never happened. So wasn't that an interesting business business focus for that turn of the century? So returning to things that work, though. What are the things that worked in the past? Should you still be doing them? Yes, of course you should. A lot of the time, we get something to work, and then we go, all right, that worked, that was great. Let's move on to the next thing. And we either didn't delegate it, or we didn't put a system around it, or we did delegate it, then that person left and we never came back to it. There's ideas of creating systems in your business. And everyone tries to systemize their business, I think, a little too early. But once you realize that something is working, that's the thing to systemize. And then systemize it in a way that even if you're stepping away for it, or if an employee leaves or whatever, it continues to happen. So what are the things that have worked really well in your business, and what should you be returning to? And maybe just put it in the chat. I'd love to see in the chat what are some of those things that you know have worked in the past, whether it be phone calls or relationships or collaborations or events or whatever it might be. Are there things that you should be returning to? Now, number 2 is actually on one of those points, which is collaborations. Coming together with another person or another business or another group of businesses to form something bigger than the sum of its parts. So collaborations are a really interesting one, and I've done a lot of collaborations over the years. And the thing that I've found is that if you go into a collaboration without any true purpose behind it, like why are you doing this collaboration? The collaboration tends to fail in the overall goals for both parties. And so thoughtful collaborations is what I would recommend for 2022. I think a lot of people are talking about collaborations, but they're like, it's almost like they're doing the collaboration to share the load, and that's not the right way to go into a collaboration. It's not to share the load. The idea of coming into a collaboration is to build the pie bigger for both of you than you could have done alone. So thoughtful collaborations. What's the reason that you're actually doing a collaboration? Is it to expand your audience? Is it to add additional services to the things that you've got? Are you doing it just for them because they're friends? That doesn't seem like a good two-way collaboration. There should be a real business and personal reason for you to do that collaboration. Otherwise, you're not going to put your best foot forward. And I know that there's a lot of people in the past that have done collaborations and have seen them as something additional to do, or almost like a charity piece that they're doing, and they never put as much effort into them as they do in their own business. So you've got to look for those collaborations in a very thoughtful way. You don't always have to collaborate with friends, but you've got to be thoughtful as to what collaborations you put your time and your energy into. But they would be great if you can come up with some good collaborations through 2022. I think it's going to expand the pie bigger for you and for those other people that you collaborate with. And you'll find a lot of the collaborations here on the Future Proof discussion group. There are all sorts of great people that I've personally invited just about every single person in the group. So these are people with businesses that are growing. They're people who are have the right mindset to being adaptable in this ever-changing environment. We tend to find people in this group are not crying doom and gloom and woe is me. They tend to be moving forward. So a great place to find collaborators. Next to collaboration is human conversation. It's interesting because the next two are actually going to be two sides of a same coin. So one is human conversations, and the other is get better at tech. Now, there's a lot of people in, let's say, the thought leadership space, people who are speakers, authors, and the like, that are now, after really 2 years, catching up with the whole idea of Zoom. It's way too late. All right, now is not the time to be learning about Zoom. But if you haven't learned about Zoom, then yes, you need to know about it. But I think that you should be investing your time into going, what is a piece of technology that I should be considering for my business, or reviewing for my business, or adding to my business that's going to make my life easier or my team's life easier. This should be something you should be investing your time into on a regular basis now. Tech is no longer just an addition to your business. It's part of how we run our business, and technology can certainly take the place of a human. It can certainly take the place of different roles and systems in our business. And so if we're not utilizing that, we're actually using more of our own energy or human energy than we need to be using. We're using more of our time than we need to be using, which means that we're probably not giving that energy back to our clients in the best value we can possibly be giving them. So what is the tech that's not just going to make your life easier, but it's actually going to add value for your clientele and for you as a business owner? So that's one side. What is the tech you should be learning about, getting better at that technology? And on the flip side, the human conversations, making sure that you're continuing to have human conversations. One industry, my pet peeve about one of these industries where they've really gone really heavy on the high tech side, and they've lost the touch for the high touch. And that's the broking industry. And when I say broking industry, we're talking probably more so about the mortgage broking industry in particular. Back when mortgage broking really started, it was a person coming to work with you to help you make choices, right? So there was a very, very human guide taking you through a process. Now, some people are better at it than others, but it was the value in something like that is really about human interaction to guide you through a process. And what I've noticed that they've moved to is this high-tech place where they won't speak to you unless you enter all the data into this thing before you even start, because it makes their life easier to process your order. But the purpose of a broker is not to process your order. You can do that through a form in a bank. The process of a broker really is to guide you through the process. That's my opinion. And I think that a lot of people miss that when they're looking at where is the true value in their business. So if you are an expert, and there's a lot of experts in this group, if you're an expert, if you're a guide, if you're an educator of any sort, do not miss that the human conversations that you have and the value you bring is highly in the human-centered contact and focus on your business on how you can help somebody through a process rather than feel like they're actually swimming through a sea of forms and applications. So how can we have more of those human conversations? Because one, it's going to add value, especially if you're in a guiding situation with a client. Number two is it's also going to add value to you as a business owner because you'll have your finger on the pulse. By having these conversations on a regular basis, you're going to know where your market's at. What are the things they're currently worried about? Are they feeling like they need help in a certain area? Where do they want to spend money because they want that support? These human conversations are going to allow that to happen. And by just going too high on the tech, you're going to miss those opportunities. So make place for human conversations. Is there a place where you can create a regular event or have a group like we do here in the Future Proof group where we can continue to have those conversations? That's an important piece, especially when you're going to put more time into the high tech. So just two sides of the coin. So it's number three, human conversation. Number four, get better at tech. Number five, it's an interesting one because I talk a lot about intention and putting intention into your year. And a lot of the planning work that I do is around, all right, we have various goals, but if we were to put those goals into a basket, what is the word or phrase that we would use to describe them so that we can mentally put our focus in one spot rather than 5 or 6 different spots, right? And to give you an example, one of my focuses this year is to provide more support through webinars, more support through my client programs, and more podcast opportunities and things of that nature, right? So it's really about putting my best foot forward through the education and communication space. So my focus is very much about bringing the show to town. And so by wrapping it up in a bow, it's easy for me to remember. Whereas with a lot of these SMART goals, you might write them down on a piece of paper and put them in a drawer and never see them again. And that's the same with almost all business planning I've ever been involved in. It's how do you actually make it part of the DNA of the way you go about your year, so that when you're thinking about planning your week, when you're thinking about planning your day, your month, your quarter, your year, that intention is always there. So it's helping you focus. It's like the red car thing. If you're always thinking about red cars, you're always going to see red cars. If you're always thinking about your intention, then you're going to see opportunities for that intention. So with the intention that you're deciding for the year, this is number 5. I want to make sure that it's your intention. Don't go chasing other people's business models. Don't go chasing other people's intentions. There are certain spaces that you'll be on in the timeline of your business. And some of you will be a little bit further behind the people you see as mentors. Some of you will be a little bit ahead of the people you see around you. All right? And so defining where you are and knowing where you are and what is the best next step for you is really important so you can define the intention for you. There's no point in copying someone else who is at a different stage of their business, has different resources, have different personality, has different likes and hates, different things that are around them. You are the variant in that equation, which means that you're never going to have it exactly the same as anyone else from a scientific point of view. So there's no point in trying. So with the intention, look to your business. Look to where you are needing to stop doing things. Look at where you need to keep doing things, and look at where you need to start doing things for you and your business to make sure that it's going in the right direction. So in creating your intention for 2022, make sure you are focusing on your intention rather than everyone else around you, because we are not in a race with anyone else. We're not living the same amount of time as anyone else. We're not in the same situation as anyone else. We're running our own race. So for you, in your business, what is it? What do you need to be focusing on in the year ahead? What is the intention for that focus? What are the collaborations that you should be having, being thoughtful about them? What is the technology that you need to be getting better at? What are the human conversations that you need to be having? And at the end of the day, if you were to return to what worked in the past, what was it for you that worked? Because some things work very much for you where they don't work for other people, and vice versa. All right, so this year is going to be a very interesting one. There's already a lot of change and flux happening in the world. I can see a lot of things coming down the pipe, positive and negative, but positive and negative is just our perception, right? So how do we continue to become adaptable in this ever-changing environment? How do we continue to shape our businesses, not just for profit, but also for lifestyle, to make sure that we have choices, we have the things that we want in our life. That's what I wish for you this year. So the 5 things: return to what works, thoughtful collaborations, making space for human conversations, getting better at tech, and making sure that the intention for your year is your intention. Now, the things that are going to get in the way of that is everyday business. Spot fires happen. Things go wrong. Employees leave. This will happen. Life gets in the way of these things. People get sick. People get relationships break up. Stuff happens, right? As the famous T-shirt slogan says. Things will happen in the day-to-day life. And so if you're trying to figure out, like, how do I make these things that Russell's talking about apply for me and my business, because it needs to be about you and your business, or what's the support that I can actually get for when stuff goes wrong, then chat to me, because there's plenty of opportunities for me to help you in that, whether it's just having a chat, or whether it's joining one of the programs. There are lots of things that you can be doing to make sure that you have the support you need throughout the year and the focus that you need throughout the year. So I wish you a magnificent 2022. Until the next time we speak, which hopefully will be next Tuesday, stay passionate, and I'll catch you on the next one.